Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. I have finally decided to make this video about the aftermath of the Texas Republican and Democratic primaries because I'm tired of waiting on Donald Trump to make an endorsement like he said he would do the day after the primary. I'm recording this on the Saturday after the primary, so I'm recording this on March the 7th, 2026, and the primary occurred on March 3rd. So there were a lot of surprises and some non-surprises. I said during my video looking toward the primary that I thought Jasmine Crockett would win because some of the polls had showed her winning and that the media speculation was towards her, and that I thought that's where Democratic primary voters were. Even though I said that I believed that James Tallarico, and I still believe, it was and is the better candidate. I thought that Democratic primary voters were in the mood for a fighter. Well, it turns out they are in the mood for a fighter, but they are in the mood for a fighter with a plan and a chance. Democratic primary voters in the state of Texas outvoted Republican primary voters uh, as well. There were more Democratic primary voters than voted in the Republican primary, and James Tallarico was the winner, and he won without a runoff. So Tallarico's support was heavily concentrated in the Austin area, and his victories in the Rio Grande Valley um, is another area of Texas where he won heavily. He also limited Crockett's support in Harris County. He kept her um, to a margin in Houston that did not allow her to run up the score. And even though there were issues with some pretty questionable voter suppression in Dallas County, Crockett did not get nearly the support she needed in Houston to be victorious. Crockett had huge support in East Texas, which is heavily where the African American vote is located in the state of Texas. But Crockett did not win. Tallarico did. And now is the Democratic nominee as the Republicans sort out their mess. And let's talk about that. So, going into the primary, I stated, I think, as most everyone else did, that we believed that Ken Paxton would finish first, that John Cornyn would finish second, and that Wesley Hunt would finish a distant third. And, well, one thing did occur. Hunt did finish a distant third. However, uh, Cornyn came out ahead by about a percentage point ahead of Ken Paxton. Um, and um, a lot has been made of how much money Cornyn and his allies spent to get that finish and the money overall in the race. And the president, Donald Trump, announced a day after the primary that he was going to make an endorsement, and that when he made his endorsement, whoever did not get his endorsement should step down from the race. And Yeah, there be no runoff. Most people surmised that this meant that Trump was going to endorse Cornyn. And Ken Paxton certainly did. And Paxton announced afterwards that he would not drop out of the race, although he did modify that a little bit later by making a demand that has no chance of occurring, that he would consider it dropping out if Trump endorsed Cornyn if the Senate took this action. And of course, what he wants is the passage of a SAVE Act and for the Republicans to basically nuke the filibuster. And that's not going to happen. So, um, and as I said, as I'm recording this, Donald Trump has not endorsed a candidate. But yeah, um, my prediction was not correct that Crockett would win. I looking back on it now, I bought into the hype online of Crockett. Crockett did not win for many reasons. One, a lot of Democrats understood the stakes and went with electability. Also, Crockett did not run a lot of television ads. She didn't run any ads in the closing 3 weeks of the campaign. So she was just going off name recognition. And she didn't go places. Tallarico went everywhere. Crockett also was running a much shorter campaign. She ran from the filing deadline to March 3rd. Tallarico had been running for 7 months. So Tallarico had been everywhere. He had seen everyone. I also think that the antagonism toward people that were voting for Tallarico that some Crockett supporters had pushed Tallarico voters to say, no, we're going to vote for Tallarico because we believe he's the better candidate. Both candidates were great candidates. They had their own special, unique ability. One of them, though, is only electable statewide in Texas. Crockett was running on this ideal of energizing the Democratic base. Every Democratic candidate that has come up short in the state of Texas in the past 30 years has ran on this ideal, and it's been unsuccessful. Tallarico's approach is, I'm going to expand that. I'm going to go out there and get those independent voters, and I'm going to get a small sliver of Republicans, and that, along with my Democratic base, is going to be key to victory. And I am of the belief that if Tallarico can get 95 near unanimous support with self-identified Democrats, which he should. If you self-identify as a Democrat in Texas and don't vote for James Tallarico in the general election, I think you need to stop identifying yourself as a Democrat and identify as an independent. But he gets that near unified support and gets about 53 to 54% of the independent vote and gets 9 to 10% of the Republican vote. He wins. He wins. That's what he needs. He just needs to find those independent voters who may have voted for Cornyn in the past, or whoever the Republicans pick, and get those, that last 4 to 5% because Democrats have been winning the independent vote in recent elections in Texas, but they've been only winning it by about a percentage or two. They need to get that up to about 54 to 55%, where they're at 51 and 50 now. And get over that final hump. Um, what's my thoughts on the upcoming race? I still think if it's Cornyn and Tallarico, that the race favors Cornyn. You can already see how the Republicans are framing this race. They've uncovered, oh, well, I don't say uncovered because he didn't delete them, but they're bringing up all of James Tallarico's past tweets and past statements. Um, and God love it. And I say this as someone who's donated money to Tallarico, very, very much online at portions in his hosting career and life. So also some Republicans are pointing to the fact that Tallarico gave advice to one of his students about applying to college. I'm sorry. I thought that was something we wanted teachers and educators to do. Um, but I think Cornyn is the favorite. However, I don't think he's an overwhelming favorite. I think it's going to give him heartburn. I think he's going to have to work for it. Uh, and it's definitely going to be a challenge. Probably a 5 to 6 percentage point victory. And, Republicans will have to probably send in Trump at least once. But if it's Cornyn, I think that he's the slight favorite in a matchup against Tallarico. However, as it's appearing more and more likely that Donald Trump is actually not going to endorse a candidate. Imagine that, Donald Trump going back on his word. I know, shocking. Uh, that never happens. Uh, um, I think that a Paxton Tallarico matchup is much more favorable to Democrats. Um, and you're going to have Republicans. This is where it comes key. If it's Cornyn, what you have to worry about is some of those Paxton supporters not voting for Cornyn. Um, basically not fucking voting at all. I think if it's Paxton, you get some Republicans and you get them in the privacy of that voting booth, and they say, you know what? It's a 6-year term. He's up in 2032, a presidential year, and they vote for him. Or they skip the Senate race on the ballot. And there's no runoff in the general election. He doesn't have to get 50%. Or they vote for a third party. That's the key. That's the lane that I'm looking at there. Uh, and I think that it's a pure toss up. If Paxton's a nominee, um, I think any victory in a Paxton Tallarico general election is by less than 2%. It's extremely close. We don't know for a day or two who won. Um, and Republicans, in addition to possibly losing this, have to spend money in Texas that they could spend otherwise in Maine. They could spend in Georgia. They could spend in Michigan. Um, Places that they've either got to defend or would like to flip. And that's the key. This is a golden opportunity to flip a seat. And it is right here. And I know it sounds wild to say this now in early 2026, but if I had told you in March of 2020 that in the upcoming election, both Georgia Senate seats, because they were both up at the time, will flip blue. You would have been like, you would have thought I was speaking Farsi or speaking a foreign language, but it's what happened. Now, you might have believed that one of them would flip. You had an appointed senator running for election, um, who, and Georgia does their open seats like that in a um, unique manner. But yeah, um, that's what we're going to see. I believe we're going to see a very interesting Senate race in the state of Texas this year. There's going to be a lot of money spent on it. Um, and I believe Texas Democrats made an incredible decision in backing Tallarico. Now, for a special announcement. Every year, every election year, I do Senate videos profiling the Senate races. And I'm going to do something a little bit different this year. I'm going to analyze them instead of making a clear cut final prediction as I have in the past. I'm going to do more analyzing videos. I think those are going to work better. And I'm going to add governors to the mix. So once we have nominees in those races, I will periodically be posting my analysis videos. And I do these for all of the seats, the safest of a safe and the swingiest of a swing states. So be on the lookout for that. And in the coming days, I will be doing my first. We will be posting Arkansas governor and Arkansas Senate because both of those races have Republican and Democratic nominees. So I look forward to giving my predictions then. As always, thank you for subscribing. Please share. Um, please share the feed, share the video, and spread the word. And as always, this will always be free. I do this for fun. I do this because I enjoy it. And I thank you all for subscribing.